In 1909, a ship crossed the Atlantic heading for America, carrying two titans of the mind toward an ideological collision. Sigmund Freud was the established, dogmatic father of psychoanalysis. Carl Jung was his brilliant, ambitious protege, uniquely positioned to challenge the master. I'm Dr. Brian Lippincott. In this graduate-level clinical investigation, we are analyzing the specific mechanisms that drive therapeutic change.
This voyage would expose a core tension, the possibility that these two evolving frameworks for healing were moving toward a total, structural incompatibility. Freud operated from a deterministic worldview. He believed that human behavior is driven by past biological forces and repressed trauma. Jung proposed a teleological worldview. He theorized that the psyche is pulled toward future development, meaning, and wholeness. This diagram illustrates Freud's mechanics. A rigid chain of historical cause and effect locks together to dictate present behavior. Jung's teleology operates differently. Instead of being pushed from behind by a cause, the individual is pulled forward by a purpose. These philosophies dictate clinical practice. One requires excavating the past to find a cause, while the other charts a path to a future purpose. When a clinician views the past as the primary architect of the present, they pursue a treatment path that diverges sharply from those focused on future potential. The first major clinical fracture between the two men centered on the definition of libido. Freud maintained a biological stance. Libido was strictly and exclusively sexual energy. Jung expanded libido into a psychic energy that powers creativity, spirituality, and a broader life force. This split-screen diagram maps their differing models of the unconscious. On the left, Freud saw a personal unconscious, acting as a repository for repressed, unacceptable desires. Jung envisioned a collective unconscious, a universal system of inherited human wisdom mapped on the right. This divergence dictated their opposing views on religion and spirituality. Freud categorized religion as a collective neurosis and an illusion humanity needed to outgrow through reason. Jung argued the spiritual dimension is a vital expression of the collective unconscious. He observed that many psychological problems stem from a loss of religious meaning. Where Freud sought to resolve a biological conflict, Jung sought to reconnect the patient with a spiritual dimension to drive therapeutic change. Aboard that 1909 voyage, Jung had a dream that illustrated their growing ideological divide. He dreamed of descending through the layers of a multi-story house, moving from modern upper floors into progressively older, darker basements. At the lowest level, he reached a primitive cave containing scattered pottery and two distinct skulls. Freud applied a deterministic lens to the dream, pressuring Jung to identify the skulls to uncover a repressed death wish. Jung rejected this. He saw the house as a model of the psyche and the cave as evidence of a deeper collective layer of the mind. From this experience, Jung derived a new concept, the prospective function. He theorized that dreams do not merely disguise past trauma, but offer spontaneous, unvarnished guidance to anticipate future psychological development. Freud analyzed dreams to excavate a traumatic past. Jung analyzed dreams to map a purposeful future. While their theoretical models radically diverged, the foundational personal architecture of their relationship was also beginning to fracture. Freud viewed Jung as his successor, yet demanded total filial obedience to his sexual theory. Trust was eroded by secret relational distress, including Jung's entanglement with his patient, Sabine Spielrein. Freud harbored his own complications regarding his hidden relationship with his sister-in-law, Minna Bernays. Tension peaked during the 1909 trip when the two men attempted to analyze each other's dreams. Jung asked Freud for the personal associations needed to interpret Freud's dream, but the master refused. Freud's reasoning was explicit, "But I cannot risk my authority." For Jung, this admission destroyed the scientific credibility of their partnership. He concluded that Freud prioritized personal power over objective inquiry. By 1913, their relationship suffered a final, bitter rupture. This breakup was the result of the structural failure of attempting to fuse a deterministic system with a teleological one. Their theoretical paths split entirely. For clinicians, the legacy is a choice between two distinct ways of perceiving therapeutic change. One path focuses on looking back to decode the biological causes of pathology. The other focuses on looking forward to discover the purposive, spiritual meaning of the patient's future.
These approaches create separate trajectories. The choice between excavating a past cause and mapping a future purpose remains the central tension of the therapeutic encounter.